Warning, warning, warning.
Today, we're digging into the #1 fear in America. It's not being in the dark or needles. Even spiders aren't as scary as this. We're talking about something that's a fact of life for our area.
Where you live in North Carolina, there's gonna be snakes.
It doesn't help that a pet owner in Raleigh lost his zebra cobra. The venom-spitting snake on the loose is raising a lot of questions here in the Triad.
Is it even legal to own exotic pets like that?
How do you tell good snakes from bad ones? There's a chart going around social media. We'll verify if it's true.
And how do you keep those nope ropes away from your house? We've got the whole 9 yards of what you need to do. Snake Watch 2021. How about that for some bad, over-dramatic TV news from the 90s?
Oh, it absolutely sounds the exact same way.
But seriously though, that is actually how TV stations in Raleigh are labeling the hunt for a missing zebra cobra.
The snake escaped its cage yesterday and was briefly spotted on someone's front porch as animal control continues to search around. Gilad Melmad says neighbors are on high alert.
Neighbors are changing up their evening walk, hoping to avoid an unwanted visitor.
Quite a shock this morning when I got that text from a friend. I was like, a snake? So yeah, very scary.
Lindsay Shaw says she's avoiding where the zebra cobra was last spotted, Sandingham Drive, around 5 p.m. yesterday. She says if it's not found soon,
I guess we walk the poodle down the middle of the street. I don't know, not in the grass. So it is scary. I'm not letting my children play outside or anything like that.
If I live in this neighborhood, how concerned should I be?
If I lived in the immediate neighborhood, I would be a little bit concerned.
Dr. Benjamin Green with Wake Med says be alert when you walk and use a flashlight at night, but there's no need to panic or stay home, calling the snake a master hider who's likely trying to stay away from people.
Bites from this snake are very serious, and it's much different than the native venomous snakes that we have in North Carolina.
German says a bite can cause tissue death and nervous system and breathing issues. He says death is unlikely unless the bite goes untreated. German says more likely than biting, the snake spitting venom into someone's eyes if it feels threatened. North Carolina allows people to own venomous snakes if they're in escape-proof cages. The snakes don't have to be registered.
I think it's a selfish pet to keep. Yeah, absolutely. Why would you do that?
Guessing it wasn't in one of those escape-proof cages. Now this afternoon, a reporter for the CBS station in Raleigh posted this. She came face to face with that zebra cobra, said it was one of the top 5 scariest moments of her life. Look at where this thing was. It wasn't on the ground. It was way up here on top of a brick wall. Animal Control confirmed that it was the cobra from her video. They sent crews out to try and catch that snake. But someone actually started a Twitter handle for the cobra, which posted, "No way, Animal Control, I'm not going back in a cage. If I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free." And then there's this unforgettable tweet from the snake too. This really is going to be burned in your memory here. He says, "Time for a little fact check. Shaquille O'Neal is 7 feet tall. He's one of the largest human beings on Earth and was a dominant, unstoppable force in the best basketball league on the planet. And he's 6 inches shorter than me and can't spit venom in your eye." Hashtag back off, folks.
Speechless. Okay. Law enforcement says it is legal in North Carolina to have a poisonous snake like this one if the owner follows certain safety guidelines. But what about other types of exotic animals?
In the state of North Carolina, every county sets its own ordinances of what kinds of animals you can own as pets. In fact, 43 out of 100 counties either don't have an exotic animal ordinance or it's not posted with the state. In Guilford County, for example, there is an inherently dangerous animals ordinance. Examples of animals considered inherently dangerous and not allowed to be owned are bears, lions, tigers, panthers, and wolves. But approved exotic animals are required to get a free permit, so Animal Control would know what types of animals are in your home.
But it's not just exotic pets in North Carolina that have people worried. There are actually 37 different kinds of snakes that are native to our state. 6 of them are venomous, and experts say all of them are more active this time of year because of the warmer weather. Yep, that's how most of us would react seeing a snake in our front yard. Like this Greensboro homeowner shared on Facebook, Joey Owens with Critter Control says that's about to get a lot more common because it's so hot outside.
Snakes are going to go where their food source is. Rodents are active when it's hot like this. It's just the time of the year where you live in North Carolina, there's going to be snakes. So they're very active right now.
Throw out the mothballs. Not in your yard, in the trash. They won't work.
Mothballs are an old wives' tale.
Instead, if you have a snake problem, you really got a rodent or insect problem.
Get rid of a snake's food source and you'll get rid of your snakes.
Harmless black rat snakes.
Alan Buchanan with PMI Pest Management agrees.
One way to reduce rodent populations is to eliminate any debris, stacked materials in the yard. If there's any construction materials stacked up, high weeds, snakes feel more comfortable when they can take refuge under cover.
Ways to tip the scale in your direction so you won't have to end up burning the whole house down because of a couple of snakes.
I would burn my entire house down. Yeah. It is not just houses or yards you need to worry about, though. Terry Jones thought he had seen everything in his 10 years as a mechanic, but 2 summers ago, a customer pulled up to his repair shop with a pet snake stuck inside of the dash of their truck. So the snake found its way in the inside of the truck, and it was pretty well coiled into the dash there. Jones said he had to take apart the radio, the AC control unit, and the instrument cluster to free it.
You can't just pull a snake out of a situation like that. You've got to give him a path to escape on his own.
Snake experts say the best thing to do is to be careful where you park your car. Avoid being too close to grass where snakes can crawl around, and instead park all the way over where there is as much concrete as possible.
And buy a new car if that happens, for sure. Obviously, a copperhead is dangerous, but how exactly can you tell which snakes are bad and which ones are good? Let's break it down.
This is the basic drawing I saw online, pointing out some easily distinguishable characteristics to poisonous versus non-poisonous. To get the facts, I turned to the South Carolina Wildlife Federation and showed Grace Allen the photo. But first, let's go over some basic ground rules when you encounter a snake.
The first thing that you want to do when you see a snake is to just leave it alone. They don't understand that they're intruding into your yard. For them, they're just living.
I know you've heard that before, but really, they're just trying to live. Can they live? And trust me, they don't want any trouble. So let's get to this picture. First, let's tackle the easiest things to see, the head and eyes. Does the shape of those two things indicate poison?
If they have a really broad head and the elliptical eyes and a skinny neck, then definitely poisonous. But if it's got the more round snout and the ovular pupils, then there's nothing to worry about.
So a larger triangle-type shaped head and those cat-like eyes means poisonous. She says there is one exception, however.
And that is the coral snake. Looks just like a non-venomous snake, but it actually is venomous.
That's a sneaky one, that one, which brings us to an old saying, red touch black, safe for Jack. Red touch yellow kills a fellow. And that seems to hold true for that coral snake. Just in case the head doesn't give it away, pay attention to the colors. Next up, the heat pit. Don't confuse this with the nostril. Grace confirms that if it does have a heat pit behind the nostril, that does mean that it's poisonous. However, she does not recommend getting close enough to examine that part. Also, the scales. Again, she says that sketch is accurate.
So the scales on the underside of the tail are correct. When it's in a double row, it's generally non-poisonous. I have seen that. And then when it's just a singular row, that's another way you can tell that they are venomous. And a lot of them the venomous snakes have the bigger belly scales and the smaller head scales, versus the non-venomous snakes have the smaller belly scales and the larger head scales.
But again, you're not going to want to go flipping it over to find that out. And finally, if you do get bit but didn't see the snake, there's an easy way to tell if you might be in trouble.
Venomous snakes have fangs that are retractable, so you'll have 2 fang marks. But non-venomous snakes, it's just like a bite. It looks like just a bite.
So yes, we can verify this basic sketch is completely accurate. Simple but informative. Couple that with that old rhyme, and you have the most basic of information you need to stay safe.
Can you just picture someone being like, hey, let's look at the nostrils of the
Right,
snake
like I'm
first.
not getting close enough to a snake to be able to tell what's going on.
No, I'm running as
with
fast
it.
as I can.
Yeah, every time I've seen a snake, it's just like opposite direction, as quick as possible. However, experts do say that those snakes are more scared of you than you are of them. They clearly have not met me, but it is just best to stay away.
Those must be some pretty scared snakes then.
Yes.